Blackboard, maybe. So to get to the introductory documents for this course, we log into Blackboard, we go to Computing Skills, INFT124, and we go to the Welcome Start here. Here's my contact information, and all of my contact information will be on the supplemental syllabus and the tracking calendar, but it'll also be listed here. Email is probably the best way to get in touch with me. I usually check my emails a few times a day to make sure I'm not missing anything and to answer any questions. Alright, so we go down to the download introductory documents. The first thing we're going to review is the tracking calendar. Once you click on it, it's going to start downloading the file, and once it's done downloading, you see down here where my mouse is, I can click on it to open the file. So the structure that I used for this tracking calendar is the blending learning structure, where it's split up in 3 different phases. You have before class, which is the preparation, during class, and after class. So if you see, we're on week 3. This is our first week because the first week we didn't have class. The second week we didn't have class either because of the holiday, but we're on week 3. We're going to start discussing the course itself and going over the documents, as well as starting to work in Module 1, which will discuss the parts of a computer, the internal parts of the computer. There's no outcome. If you want to know what these numbers here for the outcome refer to, just look right here in the top right hand corner of the tracking calendar. It'll tell you what each outcome is for. Again, for the preparation for this first class, you weren't expected to read anything or to do anything before the class, but that won't be the same moving forward. The during class, or the face-to-face, which will be remotely using Skype and the Skype meeting, we'll do this Monday. Our classes meet from 6:20 to 9:10. We'll do a couple of assignments, hands-on assignments. I'll allow you to give or ask any questions anytime, either through the Skype meeting or by speaking out. And then at the end of every class, you will have an opportunity to give feedback for the class. If there's anything you need us to review for the next class, that you felt needed to be covered a little bit better, this is your chance to give me feedback on whether or not it's something else that needs to be covered in the next class. After class, Friday skills assistance, I will be available 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Friday for skills assistance. If that doesn't work for you, feel free to schedule an appointment. I'm usually pretty flexible with skills assistance, so if that Friday time doesn't work for you, definitely let me know so that we can try to set up a time that works best for you. Or you can just email me. We can discuss your questions through email or text message or phone call. I want to make sure that if you have questions, that you ask the questions as soon as you have them, or right around that time, because you don't want to have a lot of questions built up and get far behind. My job is to make sure that you get what you need out of this class so that you can be successful moving forward in your other classes here at Brandon Stratton. Another thing, post work after class. So you'll be given assignments, and you'll be given 6 days for the most part to complete them. Some assignments take a couple weeks to complete, but for the most part, the assignment will be due the day before the next class, at 11:59 p.m. So for this PC usage reflection, which we'll discuss a little bit once we go through the module 1, that'll be due January 31st at 11:59. So if we move on to week 4, which will be our second week in this class, you see the date for the class is February 1st. The module we'll be reviewing is module 2. The outcome is 2. Before the class, though, I recommend that you read through module 2 and take down some notes. If there's some things that you need a little bit more information or understanding with, take down notes. That way you can ask questions in class, and you'll benefit from asking the question as well as some of your fellow classmates. They may have the same question, but may forget to ask it or too shy to ask it. So definitely ask questions if you have them. You see we have our remote face-to-face, Friday skills assistance, and the homework. And you see the due date for the homework. So that's basically how we're going to run the class. You see, week 5, the homework won't be due until the 21st. That's because we don't have class on February 15th. That's President's Day. So it'll be due the day before our next class, which would be February 22nd. All right, so we're going to move forward with the supplemental syllabus. Again, that's located in Blackboard under Welcome Start here. And we'll click here. Now my syllabus has the system syllabus, which is just kind of an overview of the class. And then it also has the supplemental syllabus as well as the student acknowledgement at the end of it. So this is the main course syllabus. We'll move on from there. But in the supplemental syllabus, you see we have the course name, the date and times that we meet. This is my contact information here. Again, the best way to contact me is either through email or text message. Again, I check my emails constantly throughout the day. So if you have a question, feel free to email me. And if I'm not able to help you or assist you that day, I'll let you know in the email. I'll reply really quick, just let you know that I'll look at it, when I get a chance. Skill assistance hours, again, every Friday, 10:30 to 11:30, or by appointment if that doesn't work for you. Late work, makeup work or late work. For this class, if you don't have approved excuse, or if it's not in writing that I'm going to accept it, then you can't really hand it in. But if you do, let me know ahead of time. It'll be 20% off as far as the grade. But I do recommend that you do all of your assignments. The easiest way to fail any of my classes that I teach is to not do the work. So just do the work and you'll be fine. And if you can't do it on time, if there's a reason why, let me know in advance so that I can, look forward to getting it, after the due date. All right, so as far as the required text, there is a book, INFT Microsoft Office 2016 in practice. Let me go to show you a picture of how the book looks. This is the book for the class. We'll get our assignments from this book, and then there'll be, before each class you can read through some of the chapters, or after the class as well, just to try to get an understanding of some things that we'll be discussing in class. As far as e-portfolio, we need to do that before the end of this class. So to get to ePortfolio, you go to this class in Blackboard and go down to ePortfolio and Tools. Now your screen won't look like this. You should only see two things, or maybe three or four things, but the important thing right now is ePortfolio. All I need you to do right now is to just click on ePortfolio, and it'll take you to this screen. This allows you to do all of the instructor evaluations for this class, but you'll be using this ePortfolio a little bit more in your future classes. But for this class, I need you to click on ePortfolio right now, or when you get to a computer. That way you'll be able to provide evaluation feedback. So, all right, so the time commitment for this class, each class is, each class session is going to be 3 hours. We may not use up the whole 3 hours, but you have 3 hours in class, and then you're expected to, work outside of class and, try to allot for 3 hours outside of class to do any assignments or to do any preparation for the class. As far as professionalism, we're all adults here, so I expect everyone to treat everybody else with respect. If you have a question, like I said, feel free to put it in the chat or just ask the question. And I would ask that everybody be respectful and listen to the question and the response, just in case you might need to know the same thing. As far as the evaluation criteria, again, this class is going to be hands-on. Most of the things we do is going to be, we're going to be working, like doing assignments. It'll be a very small amount of lecturing, but mostly it'll be hands-on assignments and projects from the book. You will have one test, one exam, which would be a midterm exam. If you come to class, do the work, you'll be fine with the midterm. There will be a quiz. I think the quiz might be next week, but it'll be over what we discussed tonight. So if you've used a computer before, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll do fine on the quiz. And then you'll have 7 or 8 assessments. Look in the tracking calendar for the due dates of when each assessment is due. You'll have instructions in each module of where the assessment is located. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, once we start working on the assessments. We already went over the tracking calendar. We'll do a diagnostic before the end of the class. That's a non-graded assignment where it just kind of gives me an idea of where your understanding of computers, and it also gives you the opportunity to put any type of other contact information that if I can't reach you through your email, or you would prefer to not be reached through your email, or prefer to use another email address, you put that contact information on the course diagnostic. All right. So again, you have the tracking calendar in here as well. So you can either look at the tracking calendar in here. It's the same as the one that we just reviewed. The hardware quiz. Where is the quiz? I think it's this week. Maybe not. The quiz is either next week or the following week, but you'll have more than enough time. There it is. Hardware assessment. It's next week, so make sure you study. So that's the tracking calendar, and then this is the student acknowledgement that I'll need you to fill out before the next class. All right, so now we're going to start discussing the internal computer hardware. Some of what we discuss tonight you're going to have to know for the quiz. So the first thing we're gonna discuss is the motherboard. And when you're talking about the internal components of a computer, think of the body, like your own body. So the motherboard, it's the computer's main circuit board. So it's like a thin plate that holds the CPU, which goes here. The CPU goes here. The memory, the RAM, goes here. And then it has the connectors for the hard drive. So right here could be something that you can connect to the hard drive. It depends on the connector. And then your video card gets connected to the motherboard, which I would have to see what these little outputs look like, but those are usually right here where I'm circling my mouse at. And then the video card, the audio card, the USB ports, those are all usually right here. So the motherboard is the skeletal system, or the skeletal part of the body of the computer, and it holds everything together, or it connects everything to the computer. The next thing is the central processing unit, or the CPU, and that's like the brains of the computer. So that's responsible for executing all of the stored instructions, or the programs. Whenever you press a key, click the mouse, or start up an application, you're sending instructions to the computer or to the CPU. So without the CPU, the computer is pretty much just like a heavy paperweight, or just a piece of junk, because it can't function, it can't process anything without the brains, or the CPU, or the central processing unit. The next thing is the random access memory. You can think of that as like your short-term memory. Anytime you load a program or open up a document, that program or document is read from the hard drive and stored in the short-term memory, or the RAM, so that the CPU, which is the brains, can execute the program's instructions, or it can manipulate the document any way you want it to be manipulated. So it's just like a short-term memory. The hard drive is like the long-term memory. So that stores, all of the things when you unplug the device. Now the RAM, if you shut down a computer, the RAM gets cleared. When you shut down the computer, the hard drive does not get cleared unless you do something bad to it, like put a magnet next to it or something. But usually everything that you store on the hard drive, it's going to stay on there until it's deleted, or until the hard drive is completely useless or broken. So that's like that's the long-term memory. The power supply is pretty much like the heart of the system. The power supply converts the power from whatever it's plugged into, the wall outlet. So whatever it's plugged into, it's going to supply the computer with power. And it sends the power through the cables, or through the power cord, to the motherboard, and to whatever other components that are connected to the motherboard. The sound card is like the ears of the computer. So anytime you plug, it allows you to be able to hear, if you plug, have music playing, it uses the sound card so that you can hear the music. The video card is like the eyes. So pretty much, what you're using now, if you're using a desktop or a laptop, it has a video card connected. So it allows you to see what's on the computer. All right, so those are the main components that you're going to have to know for the hardware assessment, or the hardware quiz next week. All right, so everything that I discussed as far as the internal components of a computer, it's actually in Blackboard as well. I know the first 2 chapters are listed in Blackboard. So if we go to modules from this course, and if you click on module 1, which is parts of a computer, click here, and the first thing you have is the lecture. If you click on lecture, parts of a computer, it'll go through. It's actually, let me turn the sound off. It's hard for me to talk with somebody, but there's a voice that's reading everything that's on the screen. So, as you can see, that kind of looks like the picture I used. But everything that I went over in the PowerPoint, it's in here. So again, you go into the class, you go to modules, module 1, click there, that'll have the lecture notes, and also if you don't have the textbook, like I said, the first 2 chapters are in the the first 2 modules. So if you click on here, this will give you chapter 1 of the book, and this is word for word what's in the hard copy. So you'll if you don't have the book yet for the first 2 chapters, you'll at least be able to view the book through here. As far as the assignments, again, we're in module 1. So if you want to know the assignments for module 1, you click on assignments, and this will be what will be due before the next class. So it's just a PC reflection. You have to respond to the 5 questions. If I click on here, start, and you just go through and answer the questions. It'll be kind of like a mini knowledge check. How do you do on it? Okay, so for the course assessments, you'll have to do these throughout the semester. So the first assessment you'll have is the hardware assessment, which is for module 1. And again, that's just like a quick quiz. But module 2 has an email assessment. It lists all of the directions. Again, if you have any questions, let me know through email or through text message, and I'll point you in the right direction on how you should find the answer that you need. The last thing that we're going to go over is the journal entry. To get to the journal entry, you get to it through Blackboard. For this class, you go down to ePortfolio and Tools, click on Journals, and then click on INFT124 Journal Entries. And then before you click on Create Journal Entry, which is right here, read the instructions. The instructions tell you what should be included in the journal entry. Also in the instructions, it tells you what title to use. Do not use the week number. Use whatever today, the date of the class is. So I'm going to click on Create Journal Entry. The title is going to be January 25th, 2021, and then I'm going to type what I learned today. So, and then if there's anything that I need to have covered before for the next class period, I'm going to write down, please cover the following topics or review. Please review the following topics. And I'm going to make sure that the grammar is correct. And then once I'm done, I'm going to click Post Entry. And then it shows up here. So, and I usually reply to all of the journal entries, so you have an opportunity to review. If there's any questions you have that you want to put in here, that's fine, and I'll just reply to them in here. But that's the journal entry.